after Claire is all finished, she's just changing. She's on her way out.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. I'm
Hi.
the manager
Hi, Bonnie.
here. Oh, I met you up at the front.
Yeah, yeah.
You're checking in. I just wanted to, is it okay if we talk here? No one else
Sure.
is here. I just want, are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so that is against our hospital policy.
I understand that. However, hospital policy does not override my charter rights. I have a right to assemble. I have a right to expression, and I have a right to freedom of the press.
Okay, so.
No, I'm not interested in anybody's
Oh, no.
stuff.
No, I just want to.
I'm just trying to document my mother's experience.
Yeah, so we just want to protect other patients and our staff
And I'm not
here
interested
as
in
well.
anything that they do. And if I accidentally were to record something like that,
Hi there.
if I were to accidentally record something that would not have been appropriate, I would delete it. I would not publish it. I would not do anything with it.
Yeah, and that's the piece, and I appreciate that you're mindful of that, but we want to make sure, we have to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but
so-
you can make sure it doesn't happen, but you can't violate my charter fundamental rights while you're doing it.
Yeah, so, and again, we want to work with you. We want
And
to
I'm not-
make sure that you get what you need while
He's
you're
a good
here.
guy.
I'm sure he is. It's
Yeah.
wonderful that he's brought you and supporting you.
yeah.
And we want to do that too. We want to do the best that we can do while you're here. But I also need to, kind of address our policies that we have here at the hospital and see how we can work together.
What
through
about
this.
if we do it with the when you meet with the doctor?
And if the
'Cause
doctor
the
has
doctor
agreed.
knows that you wear that, right?
Yeah,
And he pretty much okayed it. So what about if you turn it on just when we meet with Dr. Card, whatever his name is?
Is it Iskanian? Is that who you see
Yeah,
here?
Iskanian.
Yeah, so if he's agreed, and again, the policy is we have written consent, but if he's agreed with that, then,
He didn't, he just
well,
asked.
unfortunately, we don't need his consent. The only person whose privacy would be violated would be my mother's, and my mother can give consent.
so that's the piece that we need to work through on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your understanding is different than what our policy is
And
supporting.
your policy does not respect the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Yeah, so that's the piece we just need to work out. So as far as our staff and things, we have to protect their privacy
But,
too.
okay, so I'm in a public building, I'm in a publicly accessible area.
Yeah.
It's my charter right to be able to record anything I can see from a public place.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with those rights.
Yeah,
so
I understand
I'm
that.
just supporting our policy, our hospital policy.
And I understand
so-
that too. I'm just telling you that your policy is in violation of the charter.
Okay.
And now,
so-
any place, private rooms, offices, that area there, if I were to go behind that desk there, that would be unlawful, definitely. But what I'm doing is not unlawful.
Okay, so I'm going to look into it from our end, just to get clarification on that. Unfortunately, I'm off next week, so I won't be able to connect back
I
with
think
you.
what you need to understand, though, is to violate someone's charter rights with a rule like that, it has to be that there is no other way other than violating the charter rights to obtain the whatever it is, the protection of your records or whatever it is that the reason is that you have the policy.
And the protection of other patients and staff.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not interested in them, and their staff, they're public employees, I can film them in the course of their duties, that is my constitutional right as well.
Yeah, so again, I'm not clear on that, so I'm going to look into it
Nobody's clear on
further.
it, to be honest with you, the only people who research these things are clear on it.
Okay, but we want to make sure, so obviously you feel you have a need to record, so we want to make sure that you're getting what you need. Like, what is it? Is it information? And if there's any questions?
The main thing is so that we have a record, so that if my mother has questions later on, we can review the video and say, okay, this is what he said. It's not, because oftentimes what we hear is not really what's being said,
And
right?
I know we're giving you so much
Perception
information.
it can be different from reality.
Yeah.
And the reason for videoing with my mother's experience here is to make sure that if she has questions, or if for some reason, heaven forbid, that something goes wrong or she's treated poorly or something like that, that
we're
there's a
gonna do
doc.
everything we
And
can.
I know you will. I know you
Yeah,
will. I
yeah.
have ultimate faith in the people that work in our medical system. I have very little faith in the system itself.
If you're gonna argue Charter of Rights with my son, good luck.
Oh, I've studied this for decades.
Have you?
And just to make it clear, I was trained by the United Steelworkers on all of this stuff. They spent a lot of money training me how
okay.
to properly exercise my rights.
Right, okay.
Uh,
So,
just, and
Yeah,
please
moving
understand,
forward.
there's no ill intent, there's no,
Yeah, no,
there's
I
no ill
appreciate
will
that.
or anything nefarious here, right? Like I
Oh,
said,
yeah, no,
if
and
I
we wanna
were
do
to
it.
accidentally catch something that would be considered private, if I were to accidentally do that, I'll be honest with you, most of the time, most of the stuff I record, I delete.
Okay. But like if
Because
like
sitting
these
sitting in
patients
this
coming
waiting
in
room
here-
is not really, you know,
Oh, so you're not recording now?
well, it is recording now, I just
Okay.
didn't turn it off,
Because
but
we have other patients that have just walked behind me.
I understand
so they'll
that.
probably
But
be
again,
on
we're
camera.
in a publicly accessible area, and I have a constitutional right to record in publicly accessible and public areas.
Okay. So I'm going to clarify on our end.
Sure.
And so Julie is going to be covering me next week, so she'll
Okay.
probably connect with you at some
Sure.
point when you're here. Just to
Can I
align
ask
all
you,
of things.
and I see you're prepared to give me the
Oh.
policy.
Well, this is the sign we have up. I just actually grabbed it
Yeah.
off the wall.
And see,
Just-
anybody can make a sign for anything. For in a public building, for a sign to be enforceable, there has to be some basis in.
We have a policy to
There has to be
support
some basis in law or in regulations. Policy does not trump constitutional rights.
it. Well, I would hope it would align, and then that would always
Well,
be
that
our
would be
goal. We
perfect.
wanna
That
align
would be
with all of
perfect. But
those
the only
things.
way it could align would be for you to allow me to film in public and publicly accessible areas.
Yeah, so.
And I'm
yeah,
not trying to be a
we'll-
jerk here.
No, and I don't
You know,
want to
if it's
either.
gonna be a real problem, then yeah, I probably wouldn't, I'm not here to cause problems. I'm not here to get arrested. I'm not here to be thrown out
No.
or any of that stuff.
We're here to support your mom, right?
Yes,
We're
yes.
both here for the same reason. We want to make sure that you have a positive experience and you're getting the care that you deserve and that there's, you know, the quality. That's what we're here for, is to support you in getting that and getting well.
So far, so good.
Good. I'm glad. Okay, so that'll be our plan. And Julie will probably connect with you next week.
Okay.
Okay,
It was
thank
nice
you.
talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you.
How you feel, Mom? You feel okay?
I feel good, yeah.
Yeah,
Feel
okay, good. I was waiting for that to happen sooner or later, but as you can tell, I'm prepared. Yeah, the thing about our rights, Mom, is if you don't exercise them, it's like muscles, right? If you don't exercise them, you lose them. If you don't insist on them, they don't exist.
I know.